Hello folks. In the last video, we learned about the absolute basics of TypeScript and also how to set up the TypeScript environment. Now in this video, we will learn about interfaces. Now before proceeding ahead, I will ask you one question, and that is, which of the below is the right way to write an interface? So we have four options and you can check the options and answer in the comment section below. I will give you the right answer at the end of the video. So let's get started. So interfaces are how we can define the types of complex objects in TypeScript. So I will write interface. Let's say I have one user and ideally, the users can have one ID. Let's give the ID as number. We can also give it as string. In case we are using UUID, the ID will be one string. And the user can also have one, let's say, username. That could be also a string. They can also have one email. This will be another string. And they will definitely have a password. And this will also be a string. And apart from that, they can also be an admin or not. So we will have one is admin, and this will be, let's say, boolean. So this is one user object and they have ID username and each of these have their following types. Now the question is, what is the type of this user? Now the type of this user is nicely defined by this interface. Now if I write one function, let's name the function as create user, and this create user function expects one user argument. And now what we can say is that the user will be of the type user that we defined above. Now inside, let me for now return one only. Now, when we are calling the function, you will see how TypeScript works. So here, it's saying that it expects one small u user. Now, the user is one object, so I will create one object, and let me give the ID as 2, and the username as my name, Lipto. Now, as you can see, it's already throwing some red squiggly lines. And what does it say? It's saying that type number is not assignable to the type string. The expected type comes from the property ID, which is declared here on type user. So what it is saying is that ID is of type string, so please don't assign a number. So I can simply change this to string, and the red squiggly lines in the ID is gone, but we have some bigger issue. And what it is saying is that argument of type, this whole thing, ID string and username string is not assignable to parameter of the type user. So this thing is missing the following properties, and that is email, password, and isadmin. So what it is saying is that please add all of these three things also. So what I can simply do is I will give the email as my email, that is dipto@gmail.com, and then this is the password of my email. It's not advisable to share your passwords in the public, but for tutorial purposes I am simply doing this. So password is 1234, and lastly is admin. Yeah, I'm definitely admin of my email, so this is true. Now as you can see, all of these errors are gone. So this is how interface is giving us like nice type safety. Now if I, let's say, try to run this thing, so I have to go to my list, and now I will simply do node and then for interface.js, and we have nothing because we are simply returning one. Instead of that, what we can simply do is log uh, successfully executed. Now if I run once again, we have successfully executed. So this is how it works. Now let's say if I remove the isadmin true, we have some error. And now if I run once again, we will have successfully executed again. And that is because what we have discussed in the last video, that is TypeScript is only a type safety. The original code is the JavaScript code only, and JS really doesn't care. It will execute anyway. But in the development environment, this is like telling us that this is not the expected behavior of the code. So this is one humble way interface helps us. And now we will see some additional features of interface. So right now we have this huge error, but what we can do to fix this is give some optional properties. So let's say in our user, this isAdmin property is not always required. So what we can simply do is make it optional. And to do that, we only have to give one question mark. And as you can see, the error is gone. And that means this isAdmin is not always expected. We can also give it. So let me just give it isAdmin as false. And instead of console logging successfully executed, let me simply console log the user. And now if I do this thing again, we have this whole thing with isAdmin false. Now if I also, let's say, remove the isAdmin, we don't have errors. But when I execute, we have this thing without the isAdmin. So that is how optional properties can sometimes be used. Now we will see how we can extend interfaces. And to do that, I will just create another interface, and let me just name it shape. And this shape will have, let's say, one color of string, definitely, either hex code or normal name, anything. And now I will create several shapes. So let me just create one circle, and then I will create one, let's say, square. Now I can also create something else, let's say one line. That's it. Now line can also have a color, I suppose. Anyway, inside the circle will also have one radius, and this will be one number. I think it should be radius US, like the United States, and this will have one side. This will be number, and the line will also have, let's say, only length. This will also be a number. Now, what happens when we try to find out the, let's say, the color of the circle? So we can simply add one color with the string, right? Now the same thing can also be done for the square and the line also. Now we are using too much colors over here. So what we can simply do is something like this. So interface circle extends my shape. Now what will happen is the circle will expect two things. One is color and the next one is the radius. So I will simply do circle of the type circle, and now let's see what it expects. So let me simply give the radius of, let's say, 10. And now let's see, there is some error. So property color is missing in type. So it by default expects the color that we defined in the shape also. So now if I, let's say, give the color of, let's say, red, now there will be no errors. Now for the square, where we haven't extended this thing. So let me just create one square of the type of square. And let me simply just copy this whole thing, and it will give a different kind of header. So it is saying that type color string, this thing is not assignable to the type square, but this thing will be when I extend the shape. Now for the line also, okay, this thing should be side and not radius. So this is how basically one parent shape, we can basically extend these things to like circle and square. So this is also one additional benefit of interface, and the same thing we can also do for lines. So that's all we had to discuss in this video. Now coming back to the question that we discussed at the start of the video. So which of the following is the right way to write an interface? And I hope you already know it, and that is option A. If I check answer, this is the correct answer. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.